So before we actually get started on the project, I'm going to share a few. I know I posted some of the images of the artist's work on the website. However, I'm going to show you a few more images just so we can get a little bit more inspired today. Okay. So if you just hopped in, all you need today is a pencil, an eraser, and paper or a sketchbook. Easy, not a lot of materials. A pencil sharpener also, if you need that. So let's see. I'm really excited for this project and then the other projects coming up as well. We are really focusing, I'm just continuing where Lee left off with her classes and celebrating artists of color. So let me show you. The artist that we're looking at today, her name is Kenturah Davis. Let's see. She is based in LA, actually. So she is in California. So if you're in California, she's local. Okay, and then I'm just gonna screen share her work. Uh-oh, I lost it. Hold on one second. She does these really, really great portraits though. Really beautiful pieces. Most of them are all graphite, and then she actually uses stamps as well. Okay, there we go. Okay, let me know when that pops up. Okay, awesome. So here are some of her portraits. So as you can see, this is the title of the work, and then this is what she used to create the work. So it looks like for this one, it was pencil rubbing and hand imprinted text. She uses when she uses stamps, the stamps that she uses are of the text that she's overlapping on top of her image or on top of her drawing. Really, these portraits are beautiful. Beautiful. Let me see if I could, sorry, I have this. Okay, there we go. It's showing all of our little thumbnails on the side and it's getting in my way here. So here are some more of her work. So here's a little, oh my gosh, a detail view of one of her works. So as you can see, it's just text right on top of her drawing. We're gonna be doing the same thing. So we're gonna be creating a portrait. It could just be an image. I'm gonna draw just a side profile and then draw right over that. But here's one. This is handwritten text and pencil. Can you believe that? It's beautiful. And then here's some more of her images. So a lot of portraiture, a lot of people. And what she's doing is using text as a form of her artwork as well. As you all know, and as we all know as artists, we do a lot of observing, which you can see in her work. That she's doing a lot of observation of people, and then text has a lot of meaning as well. So she's incorporating text into her work just to further analyze what she's doing. So she's using words to talk about her images more, and that's what we're going to be adding on to ours. We'll draw a portrait. It can be a self-portrait. If you want to draw your own face, if you want to draw somebody else's, and we're going to utilize text to emphasize what we're drawing. Here's some more. Aren't these great though? They're so pretty. Some of them are like this is oil paint, and she did rubber stamp letters. Really, really beautiful. Okay. So I am actually, there's a couple things you can do. If you want to just freehand a portrait, that's totally fine. I'm going to do a side profile, but I just Googled an image, just a side profile of a person that I'm just going to copy onto my sheet of paper. You can do that. Or if you have a picture, if you have a physical picture you can look at of somebody's face, you can do that as well. Like I said, you can also freehand. So you don't necessarily need to have an image. You don't need to have a Google image if you don't want one or if you don't have access to that. But what we will do is when we're looking at our portraits here, you're going to use text. If you're doing, let's say, a self-portrait as an example, when you draw your self-portrait, you're going to use text that helps describe you. We are using language to shape how we understand something. So if you're doing yourself, you'll want to use text or words that describe you. Maybe that also help inspire you. Maybe words that further talk about your own artwork. I know some of you are writers, so if you want to use a poem, if you want to use a quote of some sort to also add onto your piece, that would be great too. Those are quotes and stuff. Quotes and poems are really great, especially if you can't find the words to talk about what you want to talk about. You can use someone else's as well. So you can just Google quotes. You can do something like that. If you have a book of poems, you can look at the book of poems, but we're really going to fill up the space with text. You can also use one word. You can use sentences. It's really free flowing. It's really up to you. But it's really going to help just further explain what you're drawing. So I'm actually going to be drawing a side profile, but I'm going to be talking about Mother Nature. I feel like that's I think that's a good thing to add. It's really nice for this project and showing all of you, because with Mother Nature, there's so many words I could use to describe Mother Nature, to further discuss it. There's different things I could do for that. Kat, I see you raised your hand.
Kat has.
So, Laura, don't you dare turn on the pencil sharpener till I'm done. I was gonna say, so I have a couple questions.
Go for it.
So, question number one is, does it have to be like a person, the figure that we draw?
What are you thinking? What are you thinking about doing?
Well, I know Laura was thinking about like a cupcake. What was it then? Oh, Laura says, oh, never mind. Well, then I was thinking I was actually going to draw some math figures and then like math symbols.
Okay.
And then also, like, does it have to be necessarily words? Like if it was like another form of writing text?
No, not necessarily. This can be whatever you think will help further what you are drawing. So, or help us further understand what you're drawing. So if you were to do those math equations, you could do more equations on top of it, in addition to some words too, to help other viewers understand what you're drawing, if that makes sense. You just want to make sure a part of it is also helping us as the viewer, as the person that's looking at your work, understand what you're drawing as well. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and if you're not comfortable drawing portraits, maybe you like to draw animals or something, you could totally do that too. Does anyone else have a question about what we're doing, or a comment? Doesn't have to be a question. An idea you had? No, you're all ready to go? Okay, so let's get our papers out. Hopefully you have your image. If you don't have your image, you can just, like I said, you can just freehand it. No worries. I'm just going to pull up my image real quick. Okay, and you can have your paper whichever way you'd like. If you have it this way, this is typically called landscape. This is portrait. You have it up and down. And I'm going to do mine portrait. Mine's a little angled. I'm so sorry. I'm always so much more comfortable drawing at an angle. I don't know if anybody else is like that. So this will be the fun part. I'll just draw my oval. So typically heads, right, start off as an oval or a circle. And then I'm just going to use this line to show where the nose is going to fall. This is the hairline up here. And since this is just pretty freehand. If you want to start off, you don't have to start off with a shape today. If you are not super comfortable starting off with shapes in that way. For a portrait, I should say. Okay, so now I'm drawing super light right now. So if you are having a hard time seeing it at the moment, don't worry. I'll darken it as I refine it a little bit more. Is anyone drawing animals, or is everyone doing a portrait? You can just type in the chat or unmute yourself if you're doing something different. Who's doing a self-portrait? Can you type in the chat if you're doing a self-portrait?
It says Lillian and Heather Rose. Rhiannon, I'm not sure who I'm supposed to be drawing.
So like I shared, it doesn't have to be anyone specific. You can just draw a portrait. You can do a self-portrait. Like I said, I just Googled it. I just Googled a portrait and I'm just going to draw on the portrait. I'm just recreating the portrait and then I'm going to add text on top of that. So I'm using a self-portrait from Google or a side profile from Google. That way I have some sort of context with what I'm looking at. And then I'm just making my figure Mother Nature. So I've just created it. There's not really a specific person you have to be drawing right now. If you want to use Kenturah Davis as the example though, she does a lot of self-portraits. And then she does portraits of other people like in her family as well. Does that help? Not sure if, okay, awesome. Yeah, sorry if that wasn't clear. Right. I didn't see anyone answer the question. Who's doing a self-portrait? Is anybody doing a self-portrait?
Victoria has her hand up.
You're doing a self-portrait, Victoria?
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, and hopefully, like, self-portraits tend to be pretty easy because, like I said, hopefully we know ourselves best, right? So when we add the text on top of our images, it's easy to describe who we are. And I didn't have a self-portrait accessible, which is why I chose to do Mother Nature. The funny thing too, I'm not sure if you've noticed, but nature seems to be my theme a lot. And it doesn't have to be super detailed too. If you like your drawing to look sort of like a rough sketch, you know, by all means, keep it that way. But if you want to, with portraits, if you're doing a portrait of a person, what really defines different parts of the face is shading. So an important thing to add if you want something to look a little bit more three-dimensional is the shading. So to further define the nose, as the example on here, I'm just adding shading. And again, like with, if we're using Kenturah Davis's portraits as our inspiration today, and hers are pretty, they still look kind of rough. They still have that sketch quality to them. So you can keep that as your inspiration today. Does anyone in the class have experience with drawing portraits? Do you like drawing portraits? Are you not super comfortable with them? Leon and Heather Rose, you draw them? Very nice. If you're not super comfortable with portraits, it's like when we were doing our hand observations, you have your own face. You have a mirror at home, usually, right? Every house has a mirror. That is a great way to practice, is using your own face.
Amin also says he's pretty comfortable with them.
Nice, that's good. A lot of people seem to have a little bit of a harder time with portraits, and that's okay. They are usually, they can be difficult, especially if you don't have a lot of practice under your belt. But like I've said, art is one of those things that as long as you practice, the better you're going to get. Okay, just looking at my image here, figuring out where I need to add more shading. And if you think of text, for example, like right now, if you're drawing and you have words that pop into your head, go ahead and write them. We don't need to do a ton of detail. So like for this portrait, I'm not going to do a ton of detail in her hair, because what I'm actually going to do is add a lot of that text in her hair. So let's see. I'm going to adjust the angles on this a little bit more. So I'm just going to draw this area to show where her hair is. And I'll probably just do a little bit of some sketchy lines in here to show that it is her hair. And I'm just adjusting. So it's nice when we work with graphite because we can just adjust and adjust our drawings, get them to where we want them to be. Adjust angles easily. Maybe you decide their nose is looking a little small, so you need to add a little bit more nose. Maybe it's too big, so you need to take some nose away. Maybe you need to add more shading. Okay.
Could you move yours up a little?
Oh,
It's
yep.
off camera.
Sorry, everybody. Yeah, let me know if I fall off the camera because my overhead camera is blocking my view a little bit, so I keep sliding it around. Okay, so once you start getting, you have everything laid out, now would be a great time to start adding some text. So again, we're just going to do it right over our portraits. If you look at Kenturah Davis's, or the examples that we looked at, she's got text in the hair. She's got text over the face. And as you're writing different words in your portrait as well, you can keep refining too until you're pretty satisfied with the way it looks. Speaking of refining, I keep going back in and adding more. Okay, let's just get to writing. So you can do this in a few different ways if you want to have the words. So if I were to choose to have the words go down with where her hair is falling, I could do it that way. Or I could just write it across as well. If you notice in her images, the words are kind of blended into the portrait. So when you're looking at the portrait from a distance, you can't really see the words. They're not huge, right? They're just sort of blended into what she has drawn or the portrait that she has created. So we'll attempt to do the same thing. And again, we're using language to further describe the image. We're basically taking what she's doing and analyzing what we are doing. So Rhiannon and Victoria, I know one of you ladies are doing a self-portrait. So again, find words or quotes or poems, whatever further describes you or talks about you. Now for Mother Nature, and you can do whatever you're comfortable with too. I know in some of the examples we saw, it looks like Kenturah Davis did cursive. She did some sort of script. If you're comfortable with that, you can do that. If you are not super comfortable with cursive, I know it's not for everybody. You don't have to do cursive. Do whatever type of text you want to do. I think that even choosing a text that you're going to do also further analyzes what you're drawing to. Okay. So, some things for Mother Nature. One thing is just Mother Nature, right? So what I'm doing is I'm just going to analyze. I'm going to start with Mother Nature in itself. So how can I further analyze Mother Nature? Well, if I think of a mother or a mom, I think of a caregiver. That's one. Home. Think of love. Maybe guidance. If I think of nature, I think of like the atmosphere, trees. Right now I'm just doing one word. Circle of life. How many of you started singing The Lion King? I think I do that every time I hear the circle of life.
I did.
Thank you, Scott. I'm not alone.
You're not alone.
I can think of universe. Or some other things. Earth. Growth. Life. Evolving. Ever changing. Let's see. Expanding. What do you all think? Any ideas popping into your head? What are some of you drawing? If you need help, you can type it in the chat and we can all give you feedback too. Green. What are some other things? Human nature. Some other things I think of too are like just something as simple as oxygen. Breath. I'm thinking of a couple quotes too. There's a very famous one, like, it's the mountains are calling and I must go. And then another one is all good things are wild and free. That's another word I can add in here, freedom. Wild. Even more simple things like animals, plants. I already have trees. Can expand on that. Flowers. Bloom. Oh my gosh, even things like what are some other things that oh, even things like earthquakes and tornadoes, those are all part of nature, right? Ocean. Tides. If you're having a hard time thinking of things for yourself too, there's absolutely no harm in looking things up too. I am an advocate for Google. So don't be afraid.
Would it help with brainstorming ideas to use like types of things, like types of animals or types of plants or types of trees or whatever?
Yeah, definitely. That's a good point. So like for mine, like what Scott was saying, if I think of Mother Nature, I have things like trees and life, plants. I can dive further into what types of trees there are. 100%. Can some of you share what you're doing as well? I'd love to see, even if you just unmute yourself and talk about what you're drawing and some of the things that you wrote down. If you don't want to unmute, you can type it in the chat too. I love hearing what you're all doing. Don't be shy, everybody. It's so much more fun when you all talk too.
It's a quiet Monday.
It is. So I've started to add a little bit into her face too, like into her eyebrow, onto her mouth. I wrote wisdom. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I'm going to write the Lorax. Lorax is the protector of trees, right? I can even write things like protect the parks. We have those beautiful national parks that need protection. Oh, that's another word. She's a protector. All right.
Laura says, I'm doing a girl from the back, and the words are things that she's grateful for.
Oh, that's a nice one. What are some things that you wrote on there for gratitude, Laura? I found a guardian. I had another idea for guardian. What else? What else? Sharpen pencil here. What I'm going to do is add a little bit more shading into the hair too, so I can get these words to blend a little bit more. Who else wants to share? Liliana. Statue of Liberty. Oh, that's a nice one. Heather Rose, you did a character. Heather Rose, what kind of character did you do?
Video game character.
A video game character. Nice. Liliana, what kind of words did you put for the Statue of Liberty?
I wrote things like liberty,
Very nice.
like the immigrants.
Oh, very nice. That's perfect for this project too. Um, knowledge. And you know, another thing you can do too that I forgot to mention is also put your own thoughts into what you're drawing as well. So if you have a personal experience with what you are drawing, you can write about that on here too. You can utilize this space almost like your own analysis of what you're doing, or like think of when you're if you so for my writers, or if you're not a writer but you do journal as an example, or when you take notes, you're talking about your thoughts. You're writing down what you're thinking. You're kind of analyzing and observing what those thoughts look like. You can also incorporate that into your image too. So I could also put my own thoughts. So a lot of the words are obviously my own opinions about what Mother Nature would represent. But what else is something that I can talk about? What are my personal feelings with what Mother Nature represents? Maybe I have feelings about nature in general. Like I said something about protecting national parks or just landmarks, monuments, etc. I can write my own thoughts on that. You can think about it that way too, and that'll also help fill the space with your own words and your own emotion, things like that. So I'm going to do a little bit of that too. So um,
There's a comment for you. Your picture is so impressive.
oh, thank you. You know what else I just thought of for a mother? Oh, I already put protector, but protection. But in turn, we also need to protect nature ourselves, right? The ecosystem. Is everyone doing okay with their projects too? Does anyone need help with the words? How's everyone doing in here? See everyone just kind of working. If you want to as well, you can also always fill up the background too. So while you're drawing, if you want to add some words in the background too, you're welcome to. I keep spinning my page around because I'm trying to find another area I want to write some words on. Let's see. Just gonna have a little bit more shading. Oh, what about listener? For the Statue of Liberty, you can also have freedom on there too. You have liberty, you're talking about immigration. It's how we all started, right? History. That's what we're supposed to represent as a country, right? We just had the 4th of July too, Liliana. You can add some of that stuff in there too. Abundance. So some other words that I've added to mine are abundance, change.
Any ideas for the Statue of Liberty? Liliana needs words.
Statue of Liberty. I mean, that's also a woman. You can. What do you have on there right now, Liliana? I know you have liberty. Liberty, freedom, independence, immigrants, pilgrims, life, love. Welcome. Foundation. That was kind of our, yeah, welcome.
Hope.
Hope, that's a good one. Anyone else have any other ideas for Liliana too? What you know what you could write, Liliana, is oh my gosh, what does the Statue of Liberty say? She's got that quote written on her. Does anyone know? I cannot remember. Joy, yeah. Oh, nice. Scott just gave you a bunch. Hold on. Now I have to look up what's on the Statue of Liberty. It's bothering me. Ah, okay, Liliana. It says, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore.
Laura would like to share.
Laura.
Can you type that for Liliana or copy and paste?
Yes, I
Only
definitely can.
far, but yeah.
Oh, that looks so nice, Laura. And you have words written in the hair, I'm assuming?
Mhm.
That's beautiful. Very nice. Thanks for sharing that.
You're welcome.
And then Liliana, the Statue of Liberty also has Independence Day written on the tablet that she's holding.
You could also write like green, like
Mhm.
descriptive words,
Mm-hmm.
and words like French, because didn't the French give it to us, I think? I forgot. I'm thinking.
Yes.
Yeah, Scott wrote France too as one. And then, sorry, I'm not drawing everybody. I was looking at more of the Statue of Liberty represents hope, freedom, democracy. Some say the 7 spikes on her crown represent the 7 seas and 7 continents of the world. And it was gifted as an alliance too, so you can have something like that on there. American Revolution, right? All right. I know we're all still working, but I love to see some examples. We only have a couple minutes left. So even though you're not done, if you want to share, that would be so awesome. All right.
Okay, here's Liliana and Heather Rose.
Okay, here's other roses.
Oh, I love it. Oh, I see where you added the text all up in the hair too, right? That looks so nice. It's looking good filling it in like
Mine
that.
so far.
Oh, very nice. I like the way that you added the text in the arm too and the hair up at the top. Did you do it in some of the shading too on the gown?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There.
Oh, I love that. That's a really nice detail. Beautiful. Thanks for sharing, ladies.
Thank you.
Here's Vienna and Victoria.
Hi, ladies.
Okay, Victoria said yes.
You're still working on it.
Hire
No
my
worries.
arm out.
Your arm hurts. Oh, I love that. I love the text in the hair too, and the color in the background.
It's done.
No, not yet.
You the wrong side.
Wait.
5.
Should we come back to you?
No, it's fine.
Yeah, we're done. Not yet? Oh,
Should we come back?
oh yeah, sure, please.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank
Okay, we'll
you.
come back. Here's Judy.
Hey, Judy. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, I love the text in the background. Oh, I love it. That's so nice. Thanks for sharing that, Judy. Oh, I see that. I know you're saying something, but we can't hear you.
Yeah, I think she's having an audio problem. Okay.
Did it work?
No, she waved, but we can't hear anything. Okay.
Sorry, Judy.
Okay. Are we ready to go back to Vienna and Victoria?
Ah, I see a hand. Oh, I love it. I love the words in the background. Is it in the dress too?
It's myself.
I love that. That looks so nice.
Thank you.
I love that you did your text in the color too. Looks good.
Thanks. Yeah, it's for my. Oh, yeah. It's from one of our photo albums.
Oh, cute. Oh, oh. Is that you?
It's yes.
It's so cute.
Yeah, this one.
I
Well, thank
love
you.
it. Thanks for sharing. That's
Thanks.
so cute.
Thank you.
Awesome. Oh, Judy, I see your chat. Your words are all Langston Hughes poems. Oh, very nice. For Statue of Liberty, Liliana, do History of France and America, Friendship. Those are good words. Okay. Does anyone else want to share before we go for the day? I don't see anybody.
Here's Kat.
Kat. Hello.
Oh, my drawing's not done because I was having a really hard time drawing something. So this is what I have so far.
Oh, that looks really nice. And you're just adding the arms and the head, it looks like, right? That's the last thing you
Yeah.
need to
So
add.
this is like the neck thing, fashioning,
Got
and then
it.
these
Okay.
are the shoulders, and then the head will come up there.
Awesome.
My sister
That'll look
helped
really
me
nice.
with the legs because I was having a really hard time.
Hey, that's okay. That's okay.
So she gets all the credit for the legs.
Well, thanks for sharing anyway, Kat. All right, everybody, thank you so much for participating. So just a reminder real quick, next week is our painting camp. So if you are interested in joining it and haven't yet, do that. I will be teaching it all week. So we won't have class next week, but we'll continue on the following Monday, the 20th, with our next artist that we're going to be looking at. All right. Okay, everybody, have a great rest of your day. See you all later.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you for the class.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.